Okay, Sistas fans, here's my review for last night's episode, Season 5, Episode 5. It's all about who you know. First of all, I apologize. My damn cable had an outage because I just got off the phone with them about an hour ago, and it was 8:57. Pulled up my browser. Dish, anywhere, went to the website so I could watch the episode online like I always do. Didn't work. Then went up to the living room. TV won't working out there either. So about 9:05, being so pissed off and no options, I just went to sleep. Then I woke up around like 12:30, 1 o'clock. But yeah, I was pissed because I really wanted to live tweet. I had my notebook ready. I made a few tweets and memes prior to the episode. You saw me post them online because thankfully Instagram is working for me again. And then it didn't happen. So that sucked. Woke up. I mean, people, this episode got kind of middling reviews from fans. But truth be told, I loved it. Maybe it's because I watched it without commercials. That probably helped. But yeah, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. This was easily the best episode of Season 5. So many isolated moments that were just breathtaking, from, character body language cues, the way somebody looked, like the look on their face. And of course, the ending of the episode when Angela and then of course Madam showed up. Andy feeling like she was transported into an episode of Zatima. The way Miss Lisa and Zach interacted, loved it. So let's jump right in. So yeah, I will possibly do a live stream tonight since I wasn't able to do one last night because I didn't watch the episode until like 3 o'clock this morning. So yeah. All right. So we pick up where we left off. Hayden is taunting Andy due to the fact that Andy is just, holy crap. She sees Robin, she sees Gary and 3 other individuals in the same meeting room. And I'm just thinking to myself, yeah, no wonder, Danny think people can just burst into this meeting and stop it. Hell no. But in any case, turns out one of Hayden's clients was looking for a hedge fund, like, associate or manager. Hey, I know a guy. So Gary. And he figured that Gary meeting with the clients and the boss of their company, the law firm, would be a good way to see if they would be a good fit together. Now, later on in the episode, we actually see when Hayden, goes in to check to see if the meeting went well. Little moments like this, I loved it because instead of being a little weasel, I just love moments where we see the characters doing their jobs. I know it's little things, but it goes back to, Gary and, Hayden and Andy. We're so used to these character shit that it's easy to forget why they're still in the positions of employment that they are, because they're good at what they do. So just the little things of like Hayden going into the meeting. Hello, gentlemen. Did everything go okay? Oh, yes. Oh, hey, didn't I tell you? Well, hey, let me walk you down to your cars. And little things like that I really loved. Look, I get it. You can hate Hayden, but whenever a character is doing, like, hell, Karen at the salon. Look, if you see my lives, I don't have hair like that, obviously. And plus, I'm not, I'm a man that keeps my hair short. So I don't know jack shit about salon stuff. But, there are people like, she isn't holding the thing right, the curling iron, and women look better going in than they do going out. I don't care. When the characters are doing their jobs, I love to see it. Okay, so basically he arranged this entire thing. Andy's pissed off because, she thinks like this is about her. And in a way it is, but at the same time, Hayden is so slick and slimy about it that it's like, well, you might be going after me, Hayden, but you did disguise it well. Andy is like, you know what, something bad's going to happen to you. What about, when Zach, fought me and beat me up and down the stairs? And what about Fatima? That wasn't bad. Oh no, worse, I'll screw you over legally. I love that because I said it in one of my videos recently. I'm like, what was it? The one about the baggage, about who brings the most baggage, Hayden or Fatima? And I mean, not Zach or Fatima. And I'm like, yeah, Karen's awful to the relationship and whatnot. Zach has all these women and baby mamas, but Hayden is the worst because he can screw Zach and Fatima over illegally. And sure, call him what you want, but the man knows his stuff. Like, you can beat him up, you can like destroy his property and whatnot, but he can have you locked away for the rest of your days. And that's worse than, you know, a baby mama or something like that, depending on who you ask. So Andy doing that, I'm just like, wow, okay, Andy, this is crazy. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you got to give Hayden some credit. This was a brilliant way to, you know, kind of two birds, one stone, Andy and Robin in one fell swoop. So as he's, you know, taunting, you know, Andy about the whole thing. Oh, I know Gary's too blind to see, but I knew that, you know, you would fall for him if he tried to, you know, seduce you and whatnot. And I told him to do it, you know, to basically get, you know, one up on you. And I wonder if he's going to tell Robin about that. And, you know, oh, he tried to sue me. You helped him. Well, yeah, he told me he dropped it. And I'm like, yeah, I know why he would do that. And, you know, he's basically doing the evil villain monologue. That's pretty much it. But my favorite part is when Fatima rolls up. And, you know, at this point, Andy is distraught. And I love the way Tyler moved the camera where you got Andy in focus and Fatima's a bit blurry, but then he switches it around where it's the perspective of Andy's lost in her thought, but now we got a full focus on Fatima's rage. And I'm like, oh, yes! I live for this stuff, folks. I live for it. This episode was one of those I could like tell what Tyler was going for in certain moments, and it just really shined when those moments happened. So many of those things in this episode. This might be a long review, so strap yourselves in. And look, I know some of y'all might even be happy because I'm actually positive about Sistas for the first time in season 5. Okay, so after the theme song, Fatima, you know, taunts Hayden like, you know, so what are you still doing here? And Hayden at this point is like, you know what, I'm about to get my ass out of here, because I made a meme about how, okay, what was going through every character's mind at this point. Andy was like, Robin and Gary talking about me, my love life and career, they're over. And then you have Hayden looking at Fatima like, oh shit, how much of this is she over here? And then Fatima's like, I'm about to beat this evil leprechaun's ass up and down the stairs like Zach did. I think the first caption I was going to use was like, I'm about to go to my office and grab my baseball bat or something. Fatima won't play. All right. So Fatima's upset that Andy's upset. Like, what did he say to you? What did he do to you? And then Andy explains the whole thing about, you know, the meeting. I'm just saying, I don't think it would be a good idea to stand right there where they could see you from the glass walls. I don't know why, but it's like, if you're nervous about a meeting between certain individuals and you think the subject might change to you, I would not want to be within view of said meeting. I would just like, let's go to the break room or let's go to my office. I would do that. But yeah, so in any case, Fatima's mad that Hayden's the one that orchestrated this entire thing. And she knows, like, oh, Robin and Gary. Ooh, oh, because I initially thought the meeting was Robin and Gary. That was it. But no, it's actually business. But it does get personal a little later on. So the conversation shifts over to how did Gary know Robin's back? Hayden. Yeah, Hayden's the one that said, because he's supposed to be in London. But yeah, things got rearranged where it's like, well, you know, the boss man needs to meet with a important client like this. So, man, yeah, so Robin kind of dropped everything, came back, and, you know, that's how things worked out the way they did. So, the conversation, you know, moving forward to the dinner that's going to be going down at Karen's house. And I love the fact that Miss Lisa has such a respectable reputation amongst the characters like Zach and Andy, where it's like, wait, oh, Miss Lisa orchestrated it? Okay, well, if Miss Lisa's behind this, don't worry, she got this, this is going to be good. Because, you know, even Andy's like, wait, what do you mean, Zach and Aaron? I thought she was supposed to be avoiding stress right now, but okay, Miss Lisa's behind it, we're good. And then I love, my favorite line from Andy was, look, Fatima, don't worry about it, I love the way that Zach looks at you. And I'm just thinking, I just love hearing that. But at the same time, it makes you want this for Andy even more, you know, for as much as her and the other. Honestly, I want that for all the sisters, for as much as, you know, they're always like, oh, I want a man to love me and this and that. But you always find yourself in the same repetitive, toxic, non-romantic cycles that you say you want or you deserve this, but you yourself, you're doing nothing to obtain it. So I want happiness for Karen, for Andy, for Sabrina, for Danny, but they need to do better, or at the very least just start picking better men. And yeah, this was great just to hear that from Andy, and it just kind of reinforces the whole, it doesn't mean she's not a good friend to Karen by saying this, but it just makes you look at how different Zach is, because when you look at how Zach looks at Fatima and how people see how he looks at Fatima, he wasn't like that with Karen, you know? So it just shows you that the right person can bring out a side of you that, you know, your ex may have never been able to bring out to the surface. All right, so moving on from there, she does reveal how she was invited, and she's like, oh, no, forget everything I said. I disagree with that. Oh, yeah, I'm actually not going, Andy, so don't worry about it. So I just got to trust that Zach is going to do what he needs to do, and that'll be the end of it. So they decide, okay, yeah, let's go on back to work. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Hayden went in. The meeting went great. He takes the client and his two the gentlemen who were also there. So probably his representation. So they actually leave. And Robin is still in the office. Gary wants to have a one-on-one, and he knew this was coming. So it turns out that the meeting itself was all business. Andy didn't even come up until it was just the two of them. And yeah, it just became, sizing each other up. Like I said in the promo, it was just one of them things where, Gary tried to mark his territory. And seeing Robin again was great, but all I saw was Willie Earl. Because if you watch a Jazzman's Blues, that's all that was going, that's all I could think about. But honestly, I don't think Willie Earl truly came out until Andy came into the office later. And then the way we see him in the promo for next week talking to Paris, I'm like, oh shit, Paris going to get the bio treatment. But yeah, so it's pretty much a whole thing about, look, I know about you and Andy, and then, hey, respect the ring. I don't see it on her finger. Boundaries, man. Nah, dog, fair game. I don't even need to break this scene down. It was just really good how, you want to have a seat? No, I'll stand. What, so I can see how tall you are? Excuse me? Oh, nothing. So, yeah, Gary's being all smug, thinking it's like, yo, man, look, I know you and Andy doing this and that, but that ain't nothing, man. What we have is special. So respect the ring, respect the boundaries. Sound like nephew Tommy. Look, I'm not about to go back and forth with you now. Andy's my girl. That's my woman. She my love. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, well, tell yourself whatever you need to tell yourself to sleep better at night, Gary. So he goes on to say, you know what? We're doing business together. Everything looks good. I think when it comes to the two of us, everything should just be communicated through Hayden. Great idea. All right. Well, there's the door. You have a nice day. Oh, no, brother. You have an even better one. So then Gary leaves from the damn office. All right. So he actually stops by Andy's office on his way out, and he pretty much just says, hey, how are you? And, he's all chipper and happy and shit. I don't think we've seen Gary this smug or calm since he was getting that sex therapy in season 3. Yeah. Continuity. All right. So, he asked if he can come out of Penthouse later tonight, but, she's going through some right now, the Sabrina thing. And I think it's multiple times somebody asked, like, is it something I can help you with? Because I think Fatima asked earlier, and now Gary's asking now. But then Andy decides to do something that I really wish she didn't do. And she just says, no, you can't help me, but he can. Wait, so you're going to see him? Which indicates yet again, Gary hasn't changed. It's still that jealous shit. But Andy's actually talking about things from a professional perspective of, yeah, this is a legal situation where I need Robin's expertise, not yours. All right. So in any case, Gary's like, okay, well, can you at least call me, tonight so we can talk a bit more? And she's like, sure, we can do that. And, he leaves, he's about to leave, and Fatima walks in, and, he doesn't really say anything. He just smiles, respectfully kind of nods at Fatima and walks out. What the hell is he so happy and chipper for? And then Andy's like, oh, well, apparently him and Robin are doing some business and whatnot. And yeah, he is cool. So Andy goes to say, hey, I'm about to go see Robin. Wait, are you sure he's okay with that? Yeah, it's fine. I love how Fatima's like, well, hell, girl, you braver than I am. You better than me. So she goes to the office, and it's pretty damn cold. I mean, look, I know it's fall. It was about, what, 57 degrees last night, but it became a frosty 22 because Robin... It's ironic how Robin started off giving Andy the cold shoulder, but ended up... Man, I don't know. It was crazy. Again, Robin gave Andy the coldest shoulder that I know her toes were freezing. But when she left that office, she was scorched because Robin roasted that ass. And not in the way she was hoping for. So, Andy, knocks and, she's allowed to come in, sits down, and, hey, you didn't tell me you were coming back. I don't need to tell you whenever I come back in town. Well, no, I just had some business. Yeah, I had to stop in. And I actually have a lot to do, so kind of busy. What's going on? Yeah, I actually needed to talk to you about a friend of mine, and yeah, okay. Yeah, I need a favor. Wow, you need a lot of favors. Yeah, okay. And then she tries to explain the whole thing about, well, yeah, she got arrested and she didn't do anything. Well, she had to do something to get arrested. Well, yeah, I'm getting to that. There's a witness who says she was involved with a robbery at her bank, and I'm not going to lie, I kind of felt bad for Andy. Because it went from, yeah, Andy, that's right. Yeah, that's right. He calling you out. To okay, Robin, you're just being petty at this point because you're hurt that you misjudge Andy. And to be completely honest, you correctly read Andy like a book multiple times, but she would put on the pouty face like, I'm not a whore, I'm not a hoe, and yada yada yada. And then it's like, well, you know what, I'm sorry, maybe I was wrong, or when it came to, look, are you still involved with Gary? Now, if Andy had been honest, I don't think a lot of this animosity would have happened. Also, jumping a bit ahead, but I don't think it was the Gary and Robin, sizing each other up that caused this tension. I think it was Hayden sending that email revealing Andy's, involvement with the janitor Paris. I think that was the, okay, this girl she a hoe. That's what I think it was. Because when Gary was there, you could argue that, Robin was just showing he wasn't backing down. Like, hey, it's not a good idea or wise to threaten me or anything like that. So, I think that it was the Paris thing that really had Robin just change demeanor, because I feel like had that email not been sent, he probably would have been flirtatious and whatnot, like always. Like, hey, your boy Gary, came up here talking that shit, but I ain't worried about him. But the Paris thing had him going, okay, yeah, what we had going, nah, we ain't doing that no more, Andy. So, basically, it shifts to, I had you all wrong. What do you mean? So somebody told me you were involved with a janitor here? And wow, look, I thought you were like a good girl who liked to have a good time, and you had a certain quality of men you were involved with, but no. Do you have any diseases, STDs? It just, but then again, I don't feel bad for Robin per se, because it's like, yo, well, then again, I'm the person, I'm waiting until marriage anyway to, do the 1-2 step with a woman. But I'm pretty sure those are questions you might want to ask beforehand. I mean, you've had sex with her, what, 3 times? Which being a threesome? I could be wrong about that, but you're asking the wrong question. I feel like that's when Fatima was like, pretty messed up, how she was mad at Zach towards the end of last season, when it's like, look, I got to get a DNA test referencing Heather and that boy. And she was like, well, yeah, they ain't the only thing you need to get tested. And I'm like, Fatima, all the times you've been fucking with Zach, and now you want to try to be mad about, I wonder if I caught anything. A little too late for that. But no, I could see why Andy was a bit humiliated. And then when she's like, do you? Oh, no, I know about I'm aware of everything. And I don't have any STDs. So that's it. And basically, I can't help you with your friend. Oh, okay, well, thank you. So she gets up to leave. Wait, Andy, come back here. I'm thinking, okay. That last case file you turned in was a mess. And I'm like, yo. Oh, yeah, and the next time you just want to come to my office like that, schedule a meeting with my secretary first. Man, that was I ain't gonna lie, I felt bad. But then again, I was saying this when they started interacting in season 3. It's never a good idea to fuck around with your boss. I'm sorry I'm cussing like this. I really am, but this had me feeling, look, I've been waiting for this shit. Consequences and repercussions because of the way Andy's been acting. But I think to be honest, I think Robin is more upset at himself than at Andy. He's taking it out on Andy because of the fact that he didn't do his due diligence. Like, you know what? You had a reputation. I should have known. And I thought you had a certain, quality of men you were interested in. So yeah, it went from like, yeah, I can see him being rightfully pissed off to, okay, Robin, now you're just being petty. So, man, that sucks. All right, so Andy leaves. All right, now, we go over to the elevator. We got Dumb and Dumber over here, Gary and Hayden. I'm thinking to myself, you might want to be outside of the company property or within hearing distance of one of the employees, but apparently the plan is that they want to ruin Robin financially, bankrupt the company, get him outed as the boss because the deals and whatnot that they came up with between like Hayden's client and Gary's hedge fund company, it pretty much screwed him over. So it's like a lot of legal mumbo jumbo in the contracts probably will work out in a way that's unfavorable to Robin, and apparently he didn't know about it. So yeah, holy crap. So we might see Robin becoming an asshole, but then he's going to get his, comeuppance when he loses everything if this scheme works out. Of course, Gary's like, look, Hayden, don't be getting arrogant now. I mean, this is a slow process, but we're going to do it. So Hayden was the one that's like, yo, let me tell you what I did. I sent this email about Andy in Paris. Why did you do that? Now she's going to think it was me, you moron. Wait, you really wanted her back? Oh, well, hey, man, I thought you just wanted to tap that ass. I ain't know. Look, watch your mouth. Look, no, I ain't just saying. Okay, so I won't do anything else. But here I need you to do. I brought you the clients and whatnot and, for your scheme. And I need you to help me with mine to bring down Zach. For a moment, I'm like, Gary, you got morals. You don't want to bring another brother down. And to be honest, even though Gary said, you know what, fine, I'll try to help, whatever. You could tell how he wanted to rush out of the rush into the elevator. I think he just said that to get away from Hayden. I don't think he's going to do anything. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but I don't know. But regardless, and Gary asks, like, so why exactly do you got it? Like, he doesn't say this, but why do you have such a hate boner for Zach? It's not, man. He sounded just like Karen when he said this. Man, I gotta be real. It ain't even Zach. It's Fatima. The same way Karen told her mom last week. To be honest, I ain't even mad at that girl. She's a cool chick, I guess. It's just Zach. That's what it is. It's like stupid. Because in Hayden's mind, or the way he tells the story, man, I was really up in that, Fatima, all that ass and my brother. So yeah, it's just, I'm like, somebody on Twitter said it best. Fatima's already shown and proven that Zach could have nothing, not even 2 pennies to rub together, and she would still want to be with him over you. What, dude, for real? Stupid. But I guess this does explain why they're still in the show moving forward into season 6. So yeah, so now we kind of know the long game. And to be completely honest here, I kind of like this scene because Tyler's actually showing us, hey, I know a lot of y'all don't want these characters in the show anymore, but they are running like a long con here, so here's why they're still involved with the show. They're still going to be annoying as hell, but at least he explains why. This storytelling is 1,000 times better than the whole Q shit from season 4, where everybody involved had to be complete morons in order for Q's presence to even make sense, which it still doesn't. So yeah, Gary and Hayden, carry on. Petty as hell, but carry on. I mean, because Robin messed around with Andy. Now you want to try to ruin this man professionally and financially. Damn. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't try to shut down Paris's custodian business. I mean, hell, he fucked Andy too, so I'm just saying. All right. Now, going back to the airport, Danny calls Andy, but there was no oh yeah, honestly, I skipped over this. So Danny called Andy about, meeting with Robin. There's no progress yet in that. And Robin was out of the meeting, so she rushes over there. So Q asks about the application. Q asked Danny about application, filling out his information and whatnot at the airport. She notices he's high. He's flirting with her. Also notices the ankle jewelry, aka, oh, you're a felon. You just got out of jail. Take your fresh out of ass jail over there somewhere, please. And it's kind of funny because I'm just like, so Danny's high all the time. So she's talking about Q not making it. But because she's been at the airport so long, she probably already knows how this stuff works. Like, when to expect a drug test, how to get around it so she can like smoke and nobody notices or cares. But based on the way Danny acts, it's hard to tell when she's high and when she's just being Danny. So yeah. All right. And because notice that Q, I think Danny was like getting around to asking why he got locked up and whatnot, but he never fully explained, because I can imagine that if Danny found out who Q really was and why he was locked up, aka Sabrina Maurice, the switcheroo, she would probably do everything within her power to make sure he lost that job. Which I think would be funny, because you got Andy trying to fight things the legal way, and then Danny doing what she can to ruin Q. I love that. All right, so then we go over to Karen's apartment. She comes out of her room, looking cute in that sweater, though. She did look cute. And she tells her mom that, hey, I finished the letters. It was hard, but Lisa reassures her everything's going to be fine. And then she's even like, so is he bringing her? I'm not sure, baby, but again, don't worry. Everything's going to be fine once you got it out in the open. And we have like this tender moment. Miss Lisa was a pure black mom. She just had that straight on black mom energy this entire episode. She pulls out a book of baby pictures just to remind Karen, like, hey, this thing you got cooking inside of you, regardless of what man, the father is, regardless of the men you're involved with now, whatever happens, no man is worth messing up what's going on inside of you right now. And, well, I just hope I'm as good as mom as you. No, baby, look, I did everything myself, but I made so many more mistakes. I hope you're a way better mom than me. But guess what? I'm here now, too, to make sure this baby's going to be well taken care of. So this was a very nice, tender moment. Aaron comes by first. Boy, first of all, comes by early. And I love the way, the thing is, even though we only got a smidge of what happens in the next episode when Karen reads the letters, I just love the way that these two approach this situation completely differently. The way I feel is like, okay, I'm jumping a bit too far ahead. I feel like I should talk about this in another video, but Zach is, okay, Aaron is that one student who's the overachiever to go above and beyond for like the best grade possible, maybe even extra credit. But then you got Zach, who's like, the deadbeat, falls asleep for most of the class and whatnot, doesn't study, never participates, and out of the blue, he gets like the highest grade out of nowhere and you're pissed off. I think that explains the Zach and Aaron and Karen dynamic to a T. Aaron came in all polite. He's like, oh, hey, Karen, how are you doing? Are you doing all right? Sorry, I showed up a bit early. Only thing missing, I was expecting this man to have pickles and ice cream in his hands. I honestly did. But no, he came early, but he just came as instructed. And from there, moving on, like when Zach comes in, he, tries to shake his hand, but Zach ain't having that. So, then we get to the next episode. I mean, hell, it seems like Miss Lisa and him are getting along pretty well. And then in the next episode, I truly love you, but I'm not in love with you. And then she's going to probably tell Zach, I still love you, Zach. I don't love you. And then Aaron's like, what the hell, man? How come she loves you? I'm the one doing all this shit. And she, okay, I'm sorry. All right, so yeah, he comes in. Miss Lisa greets him. And then, of course, he says hello to Karen. He's all like, oh, are you okay? Yeah, he's just, simping hard. But Miss Lisa's like, I'm about to have a drink. look, do you want one? Oh, no, mama, no. Oh, wait, yeah, the preacher. Okay. Well, how about this? You can have sex, but you can't drink. Is that in the Bible or something? That's such a very, that makes sense. I mean, it's a question that is said a lot. And I mean, it could come across, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, for example, and I don't want to always make this about me, but this is me talking, so I can only speak for me. It's like, okay, let's not even use drinking as an example, but I'm a picky eater. Like, let's say I don't drink coffee. I don't eat Mexican food. It's like if somebody offers me something like, no, I'm good. I don't eat such and such. Why? I don't know why, but just when somebody, it just feels like invasive. Sure, they could just be asking an innocent question to get to know me better. Fair enough. But I don't like that. It's like, you know, it's like, if I tell you I don't partake in something, whether it be food or music or whatever, that should be sufficient enough. You don't need to keep digging. But it's kind of one of them things where it's like, well, I don't know if Miss Lisa's a Christian, but, you know, for the older generation, they will do and say things like this. But it's like, wait, so you can't drink, but you have, you know, sex without being married. I mean, it's not a contradiction to the Bible. But it's kind of like if you call out a Christian for, you know, let's say it's a Christian versus Christian, or even a non-Christian, where it's like, hey, you know, in the Bible it says, you know, not to have premarital sex. But then the Christian, you look at them, it's like, well, what about piercing your ears or getting tattoos? Isn't that desecrating your temple? Wee wee. Nobody wants to have that conversation. All right. So in any case, let me jump over to when Zach. Yeah, let me just talk about Zach. Then the rest of the episode will just strictly be Fatima stuff. So Zach eventually comes over, and when he does, you know, again, Miss Lee. The thing is, Karen looks miserable. On the other hand, Miss Lisa and Aaron, they're having a good time. It's like, you know how to pick him. He's sexy and everything. I mean, he's a little too old for me. You know, I don't go above like 32 or so, which is an interesting contrast to how Miss Lisa has always interacted to Aaron up until this point. But I guess, you know, because this could possibly be the father of her grandchild, she's being nice, or at least, you know, I think Lisa, you know, she's just being cordial. She's just being her. So Zach comes in, and probably my favorite scene. Give me a hug. Wait, so we doing that? Are we really doing this? And then the look on Miss Lisa's face. Oh, I thought you were mad with me. It's like, why would I be mad at you? Bring it in. What did you do? I didn't do anything. I love this. And you could just look at Karen's face with disgust. And again, feel like this is going to be a separate video, but I was talking on Twitter with some other viewers, and they kind of feel the same way. The fact that Miss Lisa is just loving, you know, on Aaron, and then of course, you know, loving on Zach even more. I feel like this is Karen reverting back to her victim mentality of nobody's on my side, because here we have my mom breaking bread, you know, getting along with these two men, and I'm the one who's upset in my feelings because, like I said, not to jump too far ahead, but I know next week how it's going to go down. I can already see. You know, she's going to speak her truth to Aaron. I'm not in love with you. She's about to put it all out there for like the 80th time with Zach. He's going to reject her. She's going to be pissed off. And what's going to make her even, I want her to go off on her mom like she did on Andy. Try to do that. Yeah, Karen, see what happened. I'm your daughter. I was here first. You're taking his side? All he put me through? Karen, you spoke your truth. Zach has moved on. You need to move on as well. She is going to be livid. Okay. But, you know, Miss Lisa thinks, I mean, well, he says, what's up? And then, you know, Aaron tries to shake his hand, but, you know, Zach ain't for that. Hey, Karen. Hi. And then Miss Lisa's like, did your girlfriend come? Oh, no, she couldn't make it. Maybe next time. And I love the way he kind of looked at Karen. Karen can't even look him in the eye. That's the thing. All right. So in any case, she thanks them both for showing up. And it's like, look, because, you know, I'm tired of all this nonsense. Let's squash it. And, you know, let's break bread together. And Zach's like, you know what? I'm not even hungry. Zach, grab a plate. Yes, ma'am. I love that. Look, I get it, because somebody on Twitter is like, look, Miss Lisa, Zach ain't come over here for dinner and all that. I get that. I wanted to be straight shooter. Like, look, I came over here to get this straightened out. Let's do it so I can leave. But when again, mama bear, black mom, when a older black woman tells you to get a plate, boy, you get a plate. And me being picky, I'm like, okay, I'll get a couple something. I'll get a little something, Miss Lisa. So yeah, so Miss Lisa ain't playing, and I get it, wasting time and whatnot, but Miss Lisa wants to squash this shit. So I don't want to look. I've been saying this for weeks, man. I'm going to give Miss Lisa a pass for now. I want to see how things turn out when, you know, everybody has a meeting and talks. But I hope she lets the fellas talk, not just Karen. But based on what I've seen so far, and I could be dead wrong next week, I think Miss Lisa is going to be a firm but fair moderator, where Karen's going to speak, but she's also going to let the fellas speak. I hope so. I believe it. Like I said, I could be wrong. Next week is like, man, I was wrong. I kind of build up Miss Lisa. She let me down. But I want to give her the benefit of the doubt that she's going to let the fellas speak their truth. Mainly Zach, because Aaron has nothing to say because he's the one who's going to get rejected. All right. But, okay, last stuff to talk about. Fatima, Andy stuff. So Fatima goes over to Andy's office and she could tell she's upset. Andy declines her offer to come over by the house, and okay, I guess by the continuity, Zach and Fatima are living together, so Zach and Fatima's house. So yeah, to invite her over to the house to hang out with some of her friends and family, and Andy declines because she is upset that at the moment there is literally nothing she can do to help out her girl Sabrina. And you know, Fatima's in shock over the whole bank robbery thing. Sabrina, she would never, no, she wouldn't. And Fatima's like, yeah, I know, I wouldn't expect her to. And from there, she's further upset about, you know, the way that she was disrespected and talked to by Andy. I mean, Robin. The way he spoke to her, the way he treated her, STDs, and, you know, he knew about the Paris thing. How do you know about that? I don't know. And then Fatima's like, do you think Gary did it? That could explain why he was walking around with his smug ass. Man, that would do it. Yep, Gary was right. Hayden sending that email, now you have Andy thinking that he was the one that did it. Which begs the question, if he does get on the phone with Andy later that night and she brings up the subject, you know, Gary was pretty clear when he was telling Hayden, we got to keep all this hush-hush so it doesn't blow up in our face. Does he take the fall for that, or does he try to shift blame elsewhere? Because remember, he knew about Paris, so who else was there? But Andy fails to realize that she has a reputation around the office, so yeesh. All right, but in any case, Fatima says, look, I know somebody who might be able to help. Danny calls in the middle of this, and I feel bad. Andy's like just a nervous wreck. Her friend's locked up. There's nothing she can do. Her one person she could call to get a favor from just pretty much blew her off, and not in the way that, you know, she was hoping for. And she's just a mess right now. But Fatima I just love this moment because Fatima was really trying to help her pull herself together. So Danny calls and, you know, Andy tells her, like, you know, Robin can't help me. And Danny's like, come on, Danny, lay off. The woman's doing everything she can. Look, I get it. She's a concerned friend and whatnot, but it's just the worst thing somebody can do is micromanage and just push you. Try harder, try harder. It's like, I feel like Bam, and I hate this quote because my mom uses it way too damn much, from Family Funeral. When you've done all you can do, there's nothing more you can do. That's all you can do. Because that's, I can't quote it correctly, even though my mom she knows it verbatim. But yeah, just Danny, lay off. So, you know, Andy does mention Fatima might be able to help, and Danny's kind of surprised. Oh, well, let me stop by your place later tonight. I'm not going to be there, so don't worry. I will call you as soon as I can try to figure something out. So, you know, Danny gets off the phone. And this is something I mentioned in my trailer breakdown, because she does call Jonah about dinner at the Scene Plant. I don't know what the restaurant or bar she mentioned was, but that's the date she wants to go to. He's going to go home and shower and change first, and then they'll meet up soon after. It's like, yeah, you know, am I paying? Why did you think I was going to pay? So no, you know, Danny's going to get that free meal. So it's just like one of them things where I'm like, the way that Danny just interrupted Andy and Gary's night and then started to chastise her about not caring about her friends and whatnot. You up here with this, you know, mandingo while your friend's in jail, you're not checking your phone. And I'm thinking, Well, for someone who's so concerned about Sabrina, you're going out on a date and yet you're giving Andy a hard time when she literally got humiliated while trying to get help. So, Danny, shut up. I don't know. That's one of the reasons I'm not giving this episode 10 out of 10, because Danny was irking me. I mean, the Q stuff was funny, but the way she was just pestering Andy like she's not trying hard enough, when I get it, Danny wants to go show support and whatnot, but when you've done all you can do, there's nothing more you can do. Okay, so then we get to the final scene. Zach and Andy arrive at the house. Also, I mentioned this in the trailer breakdown. I'm like, you know what? I think maybe Zach's going to be there, because I don't see his car in the parking lot or in the parking space. His car isn't there, but he's still at home. I'm going to let that slide. I don't care. So, Deja is actually outside waiting, and Fatima and Andy get out of their cars, and apparently she was waiting for Fatima to apologize about what happened. Girl, you're lucky I ain't pressed charges. Yeah, well, lucky, huh? Yeah, I'm a lawyer. And I'm thinking, well, I'm no expert in legal expertise, but I'm pretty sure Deja could still press charges because Fatima did assault her. Now, from there, she apologizes and all. I was like, girl, you don't mean that. Look, you need to read it. What's this, a subpoena? The way Deja said that was hilarious. But Fatima said it was a story she printed off, and Andy was like, yeah, you ought to read that. Come on, Andy. Oh, okay. And I just loved it because you could tell Andy was like a fish out of water. It's like she literally stepped into an episode of Zatima. So they go inside, meet up with Zach. He's like, what do you say? Yeah, I got like an hour and 30 minutes before I got to go to this thing. So, because Fatima's like, I thought you would have left by now. Like, no, I have about over an hour, so don't be late. Come on, don't do this. And I love Andy's face because you could just tell that she loves how much these two love each other. And yet again, this is a face on Andy I don't think we've ever seen when, you know, he was with Zach. Zach was with Karen, because they really didn't have too many tender moments like this. So in any case, it's funny because, you know, Zach is trying to, like, you know, stall and not go. It's like, I mean, what are y'all doing up in here? I mean, what's Andy doing here? What are y'all talking about? What, you part of the sister circle now? No, I'm part of the Andy circle and my circle. And I love that, because that, didn't I just talk about that recently, if Fatima was one of the sisters or not? And here we got the confirmation, like, nah, I got my own circle and I got the Andy circle. And I just love these two. They're great. They're great. I mean, you could talk about, Karen could talk about, I was here first, I'm your best friend. I feel like when it comes to Andy and Karen have had tender moments, but more often than not, that's when they're trying to comfort each other in a mess of their own bullshit that they created. Fatima and Andy actually try to help each other in more ways than just that. I mean, sure, Fatima's been there, you know, because Andy got involved with some Gary shit. And, you know, Andy was there to help Zach and Fatima when they did their hood gangster shit and got arrested. But it's more to them than that, if you ask me. So, from there, Zach heads out, and probably my favorite bit is like, I love you more. All right, enough. And I made that caption on a clip I posted. I'm like, Andy, the way she just got so agitated at the lovey-doveyness was hilarious. It almost felt like Andy was like, y'all got a spinoff already. This is still an episode of Sisters. Can we get back to my story now, please? It was just hilarious. I could just tell like some of these bits were just ad-libbed, and I loved it. It just really showed how much of a fish out of water Andy is when you look at the Zatima vibe. It's just, I love it. So from there, you know, Fatima mentions her cousin and what she's capable of. She knows everybody, but her services are a bit expensive. Oh, well, that's no problem. Money's no object. Because remember, Andy got that, what, over $1 million settlement. And plus, this is her girl. She's going to get her out of jail by all means necessary. But, oh, well, you know, I'm family. We blood. So I get the family discount. But it might not be money she wants. It could be favors. Andy's like, oh, favors? No, I love giving favors. I'm like, Andy, this ain't what you think it is. I do favors all the time. This like mafia shit. So the favors she talking about probably involve, you know, some legal and hiding bodies and shit. Not money. Just saying. It reminds me of the relationship between the Malones and the the Jim and David on the haves and the have-nots, being judges. So keep that in mind. All right, so from there, we get Angela, who comes over. Apparently, she works upstairs at the law firm, and asks Andy, you got any openings down there? All them white people I'm around makes me itch. And it's just cool to see the dynamics between these characters, because, again, this is the first time Andy's meeting Angela, which really makes me wonder, what would an Andy and Belinda encounter be like? Would she instantly, feel, wait, you're just like my girl Karen. Oh, you know Karen, too? Hey, Tyler, just make that happen. All right. So, Madam comes in. Lord have mercy. I just felt the atmosphere, the tone of the episode just shift the moment she stepped foot in. Introduce herself to Andy, and look, not to sound creepy. I don't even know how to make this sound non-creepy, but and I'm keeping my thirst respectful. But for years, I have thought that Andy, KJ, has amazing cheekbone structure and smile. I think, remember season 3 when Gary had that pop-up surprise wedding for Andy, and he had that photographer that said that he wanted Andy to model for his photo shoot and whatnot. And the model not the model, but the photographer even said, "Oh, you have great cheek structure and whatnot." And Andy's like, "Oh, thank you." And I'm like, "Yep, she does." But then you also have Eva Marcel, aka Madam. To have these two in the same scene with them cheekbones, though, Lord, I couldn't handle it. I kept replaying. I'm sorry, this sounds weird, but my goodness, to have these two in the same scene. Holy crap. Beautiful. So, to close out the episode, nice to meet you, I'm Madam. So then from there, you look at Madam's face, the way that vibe shifted from a friendly, nice to meet you, to a, okay, girl, let's get down to business. What am I over here for? This episode, the moment that Fatima and Andy got over to the house and Andy this episode was an episode of Sistas until the moment Andy stepped foot on the sidewalk outside of Zach and Fatima's house and talked to Deja. Then it became even more Zatima when Angela showed up. But even more, it became all the Queen's men when Madam showed up in the final 15 seconds and turned this shit around. Folks, one hell of an episode. Yeah, 8 out of 10. Loved it. Highly recommended. Really am mad that I wasn't able to watch it live and tweet with you all, but I'll try to do a live stream tonight because, hell, this review was just about as long as a live stream in itself. So thanks so much for tuning in. Sistas Season 5. You finally got my attention in a good way. Let's see what else you got cooking next week. So yeah, you know the drill. Follow me on social media. Hit that subscribe button. And I'll catch you in the next one.